Okay, we are going to start. Thank you guys, first off, for joining me 7 a.m. Saturday morning. If you're a new consultant, you're like, oh my gosh, who is this crazy lady that does this stuff? And my method to my madness in this is that at 7 a.m. on Saturday, by 8:30 this morning, I think you'll be really happy that you got up and you'll have a big, long, full day ahead of you. But I know at 7 a.m., this is not infringing generally on family time or your Mary Kay party time, kids' sports times, etc. I did travel sports with my kids for years. I've raised kids. I've been single, now doing the aging parent care thing. And 7 a.m. on Saturday usually is pretty quiet. The only thing that you're missing out on right now is sleep. And, you know, Mary Kay Ash, as a new consultant, you have her autobiography in your starter kit. And if you did the $30 e-start, I would highly encourage you to talk to your director and see if she can order you a kit. Because you get her autobiography, you get tools that are going to save you tons of money and tons of time. But her autobiography, honestly, the value of that to your business is gigantic. And one of the lessons, you know, she taught is that, you know, she realized as a woman, she didn't have enough hours to get all the things done that she wanted to. And, you know, I don't know if anyone's felt like that, but I know I have felt like that often in my life, that these are the goals and dreams, and there's only so many hours in a day. And Mary Kay said, she encouraged us to be part of the 5 o'clock club. She said, if, you know, normally if you get up at, you know, 6 o'clock, if she got up at 5, then she'd have 1 extra hour, 7 days of the week. That gives you a whole extra day. So, I mean, that the 5 o'clock club is a definitely a Mary Kay, like the 6 most important things list, a weekly plan sheet idea. And the longer I'm in this company, and the older I get, the more I appreciate her wisdom. So wise. And it's not just to be successful in Mary Kay, it's to be successful in all arenas of life. So thank you for joining me. I am recording this because I know some people were doing shift work, and if the people did sleep in, then in the future, plug in, because there's something about being on live, like being there real life. Even though this isn't as real life as I'd like it, I would like to have you all with me in my living room right now, having coffee. But what I do love is that I'm seeing faces and names from all across the country. And I've never been able to do this in my 34 years prior to the pandemic. And so Mary Kay always said, make lemonade out of lemons. And I really believe that we have done that in the pandemic in Mary Kay. I'm welcoming you to Mary Kay as your national sales director. And all of you don't know any difference, but 80% of Mary Kay Cosmetics does not have a national sales director. Because when a national sales director retires, that area goes to Mary Kay National Area. We used to call it Mary Kay Go Give. And so I'm planning on in the next 7 years raising up 5+ national sales directors. So you'll all have a place to either already be under a national umbrella or be adopted by. But there's 80% of Mary Kay Cosmetics that does not have a national right now. So Mary Kay Corporate is stepping in to do the best job they can with that. And then obviously as nationals, I train people every single day that I will never receive a dime on, but that's how we operate by the golden rule, right? It's the adoptee system, and it is alive and well in Mary Kay. But I'm sharing that with you because why did God put you in Mary Kay right now? You know, and with a national sales director, you know, that he doesn't do things by accident. You're a new consultant in a national area that has the exposure to be trained by someone who was trained by Mary Kay Ash herself and her first consultant, Daleen White. You'll read about her in the Mary Kay autobiography. So you have myself as a national, Debbie Moore, who is my director and national. But prior to her being a national, Daleen White was my national, and then Mary Kay Ash. So it's Mary Kay, Daleen, Debbie Moore, myself. That's your Mary Kay family. So a lot of this call is about, I want to give you a railroad track that all new consultants, I know some of you started just to get your things at cost and you're checking things out. I congratulate you. That's so smart to see what's available to you. Because I've had as many women start to get their products at cost that have become leaders and sales directors in Mary Kay, as I've had people start Mary Kay businesses and tell me they're going to be a sales director or national and never do it. And so my crystal ball is not clear. Like, I can't see inside a woman's heart, like what's really in there, that giant within, that big dream that God deposited inside of her. You know, one of the 3 tenets that this company is based on, you'll read about in Mary Kay's autobiography, the last chapter on legacy. And she said, as long as we protect these 3 things, then this company will continue on far after I'm gone. And as we head into our 58 years, I'm even more passionate about protecting these 3 things. You know, that we build our business based on the golden rule. We treat other people how we want to be treated ourselves. That, you know, Mary Kay believed that it was her life worked best when she prioritized God first, family second, and career third. So she designed this so that we could do that and be paid what we're worth at the same time. And if there was ever a time in my 34, almost 35-year business in Mary Kay that this world, our country, needs to see what it looks like to prioritize your life with God first, family second, and career third, you guys, people would be a lot nicer. They'd be a lot kinder. They'd have a lot more patience. They would, I mean, love unconditionally. We are businesswomen, so we spend our time conditionally, but we still love unconditionally. She also believed that every single person on this screen, on this planet, had a seed of greatness planted inside of her, and it's our job to encourage it out. And we're in the final 4. If you were on our area call Tuesday, that was recorded. If you weren't, your director can get a copy of that from me. But I was talking about the final 4. You know, the final 4, if you watch college basketball. So my husband played football at the University of Michigan. That's where we met in college. So we're big U of M fans. And I personally like watching basketball more than football. I like watching football, but going to a Michigan football game is all day long. Basketball, I can go and come home. Now we're not going anywhere. We're watching on TV, but Michigan was playing yesterday. And it's so interesting to me, just like in Mary Kay, Michigan, University of Michigan were #1. They were the Big Ten champs. And now they go into the tournament though, and it's one and done. Like, you lose a game and you're out. Like, everyone gets to start over. And it's like that in Mary Kay. You know, you're in a business, most of you have been in jobs or gone to school that if you fail at something or don't meet a goal, you're either fired or you lose promotability. It's not a good thing to fail a class or, you know, not do well on a job assignment. But in Mary Kay, it's a whole different way of looking at success. Success is the journey, and you fail forward. And so it's not the women at the top in Mary Kay aren't the ones that have had the least failures. They've actually had the most. They've gotten up faster. Their bounce back ability. Mary Kay always said, the only person that has more skinned knees than me is my national sales directors. And then it would be the directors. And then it would be the consultants. And so do know that you're coming into something that success is a journey. The journey is worth it. Have fun on the journey. I love this business. I'm excited to be in front of brand new consultants or restarting consultants or women who are working to go into leadership or grow their leadership, because I, after 35 years, love this business and this opportunity more than I did when I signed up. And I signed up because I knew I'd be missing out on something if I didn't. I'd always wonder if I could be one of those people that drove the pink car around, and also one of those women who was comfortable in her own skin. I loved seeing Mary Kay women grow into God's best version of them, which is very different than what I saw growing up, is that you had to conform to the culture of that industry or that company, dress like them, act a certain way, think a certain way. And in Mary Kay, I saw women from all different backgrounds and all different personality types, all different body shapes, all different skin colors, multiple languages, all having an equal opportunity to be successful, and seeing how that looked, like growing into being comfortable in your own skin. And that's a process. I'm in, 58 years old and feel like I'm comfortable in my own skin now. Like I was not this girl in my teens, in my 20s, 30s. Like this business has been part of the potter's wheel that God has used to transform me into how he sees me and who he made me to be versus my family, religion, or just my own head. So welcome. I'm excited to welcome you to our area, to Mary Kay. I do encourage you to ask yourself, God, why do you have me here now? If you have any leadership ability at all, like in your DNA, I bet you're supposed to step into leadership because we need leaders in our area and in Mary Kay Cosmetics. Mary Kay does not hire. So you can be a leader. If you do not want to be a sales director, get a free car. Have 23 people on your team and have no car payment or insurance payment, because that saves so much money. My daughter, Alden, was just reminiscing yesterday on our director's Vox, and I think I shared it on another Vox or two, about how grateful she was when she got into her little Mary Kay customized Mini Cooper and realizing that she's driven for free for 8 years since she started her Mary Kay business. She will never have a car payment or insurance payment. Well, actually, she was sharing that she did buy her husband a car and just got done with the lease payments on it, and then added up, if she had in her 8 years in Mary Kay paid for a car for her, what she had paid for Cody's car and insurance, it would have cost her $50,000, which that's not uncommon. I mean, when I hear what people pay for cars, it's crazy, and they're a devaluing asset. And basically you're renting a car. It's not yours at the other side of it. And even if it was, I mean, especially in Michigan, our cars are trashed with our roads after 24 months. I cannot wait to go and drop it off at the dealership, sign on the dotted line, and get a new car from Mary Kay. And I have for 33 years. But you guys, that's a leadership position. And that's 10 hours a week in your Mary Kay, 3 parties a week, to have no car payment or insurance payment. And you are leading. Your director's paid to train them, but you've led those women into Mary Kay. It may be at the red jacket level, 3 team members. Maybe, you don't want to do 2 to 3 parties a week. And so the car is not part of the equation. But I mean, you all know women, you all new consultants, those 3, my challenge to you is figure out today, who is going to be the recipients of your 3 bestie coupons. The Great Start program is amazing. The company has for you. Your first 3 team members in your Great Start time period, which is your first 4 calendar months, you get $25 off on the $130 package. And you know what, if you've passed that time period, you could always offer that. Just say, you know what, I have a promotion going on this weekend only. You get $25 off your $130. You guys, you could give people give them a $25 reimbursement, Venmo them $25. That's a tax deduction from Mary Kay. If you've already passed your Great Start time period, feel free to do that. I mean, this is your own business. So as a new consultant, if you have ideas, run it by your director, because we want to make sure that you're not paying for something that Mary Kay is already providing, right? There's no sense to double promote, but why not? 3 bestie coupons, 3 women right now that would love to be on a 7 a.m. call with women who are talking about hopeful, exciting things. That we're excited. I'm excited about your future, you guys. I'm so excited. I wish I could take my 35 years and just put a microchip in your head and heart, because you would be so excited to get back up when you get disappointed. You'd be so excited when someone says no, because you know who the yes could be. You'd be so excited to go through your numbers, to go through your training, because you guys, this gets better and better and better. I love everything that this business is about and this company is about, and I'm so grateful that someone offered it to me. I believe that you will be too. And so how grateful you are is the heart that I want you sharing the opportunity with. Not, I need a recruit, what's she going to do for me? What can this bring into her life? When people say like, what, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want her to think that, I think fill in the blank. You guys, I never thought any of that. I thought this business was the best thing since sliced bread when I started. And so I've shared this opportunity with reckless abandon from day one. I love it. If someone says no, that's fine. I got to get 4 no's to get the yes. 1 out of 5 sign, and that doesn't change. It's not like you move up the career path and everyone says yes. I'm on 6 sharing calls this month. You guys can plug your people into me and your director to expose your warm market, to expose family and friends all over the country to what you do. Because there's more women right now in this country that need cash, connection, and encouragement, more than I've ever seen. You guys, you've seen me more, not only because this is the only way you can see me during this time period, especially being in Michigan with the pandemic, but I don't have to do any sharing calls. I mean, no one has to do anything. This is your own business. It's all by choice. But as a business person, looking at what's going on in our economy, what people need, and what we offer, you guys, this is like shooting goldfish in a bowl right now with Mary Kay. Selling the product has never been easier. People have never been more receptive, because when unemployment goes up, our recruiting always goes up. And when inflation goes up and cost of living goes up, people always buy more Mary Kay because we're less expensive than our competition. For when people get into these economies, they will try Mary Kay. Maybe they wouldn't before because they were more brand conscious, image conscious, but that all goes by the wayside, even if you still have your job right now. When gas gets to $5 a gallon, life gets very expensive in the United States of America. Everything gets more expensive. So everyone gets more value conscious. And during these time periods, we know that when women try our product, whether it's real life or virtually, you should be selling skincare to 30%. And if you're not, we're going to be working on target market and skill. So we know that once they start using it, they stick with it. So start as you're going through your training program. Why am I here? Why does God have me being trained? Who trains you and who leads you is important. It is. It's important in all arenas of your life. As a parent, we're always like, you want your kids hanging out with the right crowd because the wrong crowd can take them to the wrong place. It's the same thing as an adult. Who you hang out with makes a huge difference. And if you have people who are going somewhere in Mary Kay, which every single one of your directors, they've been trained and equipped the Mary Kay way. They can take you any place they've gone, and they can take you farther because you have the systems set up to plug into. The only thing that's going to hold you back is yourself. And Mary Kay always said that. The only thing that holds us back is the 6 inches between our ears. So my goal is to, first off, welcome you and tell you that I'm so excited that you are part of our area. I'm so excited to walk this out with you as you discover, why are you in Mary Kay, in our area and in Mary Kay Cosmetics? Because our company also needs leaders. Like, we need leaders in our national area to build an inner circle area. We need women in red jackets, in cars, directors, national sales directors, but Mary Kay Inc., with how much money they're paying you to team build as a new consultant, not only your 3 bestie coupons, the $220 bonuses per qualified recruits, the $50 cash per qualified recruits, new consultants literally in their first 4 months team building can get thousands of dollars of free product and lots of cash. And when you get free product as a new consultant, that's pure profit. That's vacation money, that's hostess product, that's stuff you use for yourself, you demo from. It's free, it's pink money. And then green money, the company is throwing money at you to team build, to move up into red. There's so many bonuses, and most of those just show up right in your account. Make sure that you get your checking account, whatever you want, tied deposit, set that up on your profile with Mary Kay, because then when you get a bonus, all of a sudden it pops up in your checking account. I love that. You don't have to wait for the little credit card thing to come in the mail. And I don't know, I have little to no trust in the US mail. So I wouldn't want my money to be traveling around in the US mail. I want it in my account because then I have it there to pay my bills. Different places that you can plug into me. Those of you who are on our area call, I do an area Zoom once a month. So it's a different day. It just depends on, I can't tell you it's always going to be the first Wednesday of the month because it depends on my schedule where I'm at. I need to be in a place where I have solid technology. So a monthly Zoom. Also too, when you meddle, when you get 3 new team members, 3 agreements in a month, as soon as it's in, you don't have to wait for the congratulations e-card, text Dawn. You can text me, box me, and set up an individualized coaching call. And I love those because I get to talk to just you about what's going on in your business when you meddle. Also, we do for star consultants. So all of you probably have heard that the 15th is the end of this quarter. So being a star consultant, if you're not already a star consultant or you don't know, have a conversation with your director today. Go on to Mary Kay in Touch, see what you need to be a star consultant. Star consultants are the first people to get leads on marykay.com. When someone on their Instagram, a Mary Kay ad pops up for our new lip kits, for instance, or clinical solutions, they are directed to go to marykay.com and put in the 5 zip codes that they are most interested in, or 1 zip code that they're most interested in finding a consultant. And the people who pop up first are people, obviously, you have to have a website, and star consultants. Those are the first people that pop up because the company knows that star consultants have product. So that's a huge reason to be a star. Also, too, to have product on hand. There's 3 tracks, like it's like a 3-legged stool as a new consultant, that every new consultant, whether she's seeing how this goes or wants to be a national sales director and break the company record in 22 months. Records are made to be broken. That's going to be broken. But everyone wants a solid foundation to their business. And so the foundation of a new consultant's business can be built fast or slow, but there's still 3 main things. One is having products on hand to sell. One is your perfect start / power start. That's how you learn how to sell the product. And then your pearls of sharing. That's how you learn how to share the opportunity. Those 3 things. Products, there's new consultant bonuses. There's a chart that shows you get the maximum free product from the company on your first order. So you want to talk to your director before you place it, because it breaks my heart when I see people put in orders and miss out on hundreds of dollars of free stuff because they just didn't know. So make sure you have that conversation with your director about what is available to you. Mary Kay gives a ton of new product to new consultants because they know the more new product you have, the more product you have, the more you sell. It's way different just to have a computer screen and a starter kit at your house and no inventory sitting there. I will tell you, having inventory on my shelf motivated me to book parties because it made this business a real thing. It wasn't this fictional thing that I'm just taking products from Mary Kay on a computer and shipping them to customers and I'm never touching anything. I could see it there. I could touch it. I loved when they gave me cash and I gave them product. That transaction gives you confidence. Plus it's fun. Plus also it was a motivating factor. When I have inventory sitting there and I'm paying a line of credit on that inventory, when I had to write a post-dated check to start my business, I needed cash flow. And so that inventory there motivated me when I was tired from my 80-hour work week when I started my business. And Debbie Moore said, you do a perfect start. You book 8 parties. She gave us the dialogue, just like your director's giving you the dialogue. Use the dialogue. And if you want to do virtual, you're just offering virtual. If you want to do in person, you're just offering in person. If the person's across the country, then it's probably going to be virtual. So you pick, you use the same dialogue, you pick, is it live in person, or is it, I mean, not Facebook live, but virtual or physical? And use the same dialogue. You book 8 parties to hold 5 parties. There's room for cancellations and postponements. But out of 5 parties, that's called a perfect start. She said, do you want to do that in 1 week or 2? And because of my 80 hours that were invested in this other job and commuting and the schedule changing and in a city I just moved to 9 months ago, so there was no family or friends that were going to be helping me out. There was no virtual that I could plug into people all over the country. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how exciting that would have been and how fast I could have built my business. But again, God puts you in your business at purposely at a time. That's the time period that he wanted me to start my Mary Kay business. Looking back, it served me really well because I am so solid on foundational book, coach, sell, recruit that moving into this virtual world, once the shock wore off, like, oh my gosh, like we can't go anywhere in Michigan at all. I can't, my trip that I was going to see my whole area last March in 7 different cities just got canceled. Mary Kay's career conference just got canceled. Once the shock of that wore off, it's like, okay, so what do we do? Like, how do we book, coach, sell, and recruit, you know, with a computer or phone screen in between us? And we're still in the trial and error. Those of you who are starting know that you're learning right along with us. But I found that has been, there's something very freeing about that. Like, I don't have to be perfect as a national sales director because I am not anyways, but with virtual, had no idea. Like my first Zooms were disastrous, like getting all of you guys on the screen. I had people in different rooms. I had people locked out. It was just a mess, a comedy of errors. But, you know, as I've always said in Mary Kay, we're not brain surgeons. There's no critical errors in this. If you make a mistake, people are very gracious. Just say, oh gosh, my technology was bad. Honestly, booking your power start, you know, I need help. I even if you're not new, you can do a power start. A power start is just a perfect start doubled. Book 8 parties to hold 5 in 1 or 2 weeks. That's a perfect start. The power start is booking 8 more to hold 5 more. So when you hold 10 parties in a 2 or 4 week time period, it's called a power start. And so that's going to equal about 60 faces. 30 faces is a perfect start. A power start is 60 faces. And with virtual, it could be a lot more faces than that, actually, because we never would usually do parties of more than 6 in person because it was just too much and it took so long. Now with Facebook parties, I mean, I hear people have 25, 30 people. You know, you learn then that even if you can't spend time with each of those 25 to 30 people, you have those contacts. That's like a modern way of a facial box or going out and honoring working women. You're getting leads that way. You're meeting new people. You're networking through those hostesses and those people they're connecting you with. So you learn how to share the product through a perfect start / power start, and you can redo that. Anytime that you want to get your business ramped up to the next level, you do another power start. Someone who's doing this as a job is doing a power start every single month. If this is paying your bills, you're doing 10 parties a month, right? Because you're paying your bills with sales of the product and running all your business costs for the sale of the product so that your recruiting check and your director's check are income for your family, and you're taught how to do that. The pearls of sharing is offering people the opportunity. You can put them on my sharing calls. You can do career chats with your directors. I have a Mary Kay Fast Fun Facts on my website. It's just my name, no space, DawnOTTEN-SWEENEY.com. I have under our Get Your Year in Gear 2021 a video, Dawn's Fun Fast Facts. It's short, it's fast. It's fun because it's so fast. But there's also a questionnaire that you can do with it. But if you're a new consultant, you guys know people that you can just talk to. You don't really have, you can just say, I'm doing this because they know you. Tell them the reason why you're doing this. And I'd love you to join me. And this is why. And I get to give you one of my bestie coupons. Is there any reason why we couldn't get your starter kit order today? Because it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out interviewing process with people that you know. Obviously, we want you to learn recruiting skills, but in the beginning, your first 3, maybe 10 even. Could be people that are in your warm market that you can just have conversations with this weekend. By, gosh, Sunday night, how many of you could be in red jackets with 3 active people on your team? Actually, all of you could, because again, there's more people that that need what Mary Kay has to offer than ever before. They may just not know. Like if someone just called me and said, you should do Mary Kay, my initial reaction would have been no, because I would have made the decision based on fiction, based on you have to be outgoing, based on you do this around, raising a family to make a little bit of extra money. And I didn't have a family yet, and I needed more than a little bit of extra money. I needed full-time income. And I would have made it on fiction for sure. I didn't really think this was a real job. And there's still a lot of people that don't think it's a real job. This is the most real job I've ever wanted and ever want. What people call real jobs, I definitely don't want. I do not want someone telling me how much my family can make or need. I do not want a company, a government, a school system, a hospital system to be in control of my family's financial security, my mortgage payment, my kids' education, clothing, etc. Yep, I have some control issues, but I believe you probably do too, especially when it comes to taking care of your family. And I am not going to allow, when I know that there's an option, someone else to have control over those things. Maybe that's why Mary Kay's in your life. You know what? God knows what's down the pike. I look back at the 34 years and oh my gosh, he was so way smarter. He knew I needed this, and he knew, he made me, he made you, he knows you. Down the line, you're going to get to places you go, oh, wow, gosh, I'm glad I have my Mary Kay business right now. I don't know about you guys. My husband has a gym in Michigan. Fill in the dots. In Michigan, a gym. During the pandemic, if my family's income relied on my husband's gym, we would be in a really bad financial situation right now. And it was no doing of his own. My husband is in his sweet spot and doing what he's supposed to do. But just like a hairdresser in Michigan, if you can't work, you don't make money. And if the governor won't let your business open, you can't make money. God knew when I started my business 35 years ago. He knows 35 years down the line, he knows 35 days, he knows 3 to 5 hours what's going to go on. And what I love about you all starting your business is you're going to be better prepared, because I do believe that this is part of the preparation that you're going to be super grateful for, more so at some seasons than others. So the 3 things, the Perfect Start, Power Start is how you learn how to sell the product. The Pearls of Sharing program, exposing at least 15 people to the opportunity, is how you learn how to share the opportunity. And then the inventory piece that we touched on, you get the biggest bang for your buck on your first order. And then any subsequent orders in your next 3 calendar months, your great start time period, you get to accumulate free product and bundles from the company. You guys, even in this virtual world, you need product on hand. Shipping is less expensive from the company. We have the customer delivery service, which we never had, but you still get charged shipping. Like I look at people, I can see every order, any one places in our area, and I'll see people have 20 orders, like it's this long on my computer screen. And when you add up all those shipping charges, even when the companies reduce shipping, it's a lot of money. And that's coming out of your pocket. That's coming out of your profit. It's a business expense, but we want to keep your expenses as little as possible so you get to keep more of the 50% profit. So just because you can do something doesn't mean it's wise financially. So there's shipping services called Pirate Ship. That is a free downloadable app that you can ship less expensive than the post office and super convenient, so you don't have to deal with the post office. But there's times that you will want to use the company service, but there's other times it's going to be better for you to ship or drop, even if it's a porch drop or someone's picking it up from you. Even when you do Facebook parties, it doesn't mean that the people live far away. They could be right in your community. What I love is you get to meet people in your community that you never would have met. Why pay shipping when you can have it at your house? So it's always been being a business owner versus an order taker. The 90% buyback policy offsets any risk. The new consultant bonuses offset the 10%, you know, that you wouldn't get back from the 90% buyback policy. But now in this day and age, it's also because of supply chain issues. When the company has a supply chain issue, if you have products sitting on your shelf, your customers never know. If there's a storm in Dallas, in Texas, that shuts down their electricity or weather conditions and products can't be shipped out from that distribution center, and that's what would ship it to you, your customers never know. So when you're a sales rep, you totally have to rely on the company getting products to your customers. Mary Kay didn't set this up for you to be a sales rep. She set it up for you to be a business owner. And you know that if business owners can get you products, you know during this pandemic, whoever had toilet paper, that's where you shopped. The people who ran out of toilet paper, for whatever reason that is, that's going to be a whole study down the line. Like, remember that pandemic and they ran out of toilet paper and it wasn't a dysentery flu? Like, they're going to go, what in the world was going on there? But you shopped where people had stuff, right? You shopped where they had the stuff that you needed. Same thing with Mary Kay. You know, when someone uses Mary Kay, we refer them back to their consultant. That's operating by the golden rule. You refer them back to their consultant. But if that consultant, you guys, doesn't have products on hand, then the golden rule also applies for the customer. And so as a customer, I want product right then and there. I want a consultant who has product on hand. I want a consultant who's gone on to Mary Kay in Touch and she's gotten her certification in color. She's gotten her certification in skincare. She's gotten her certification. She knows what the new retinol system is, and she's gotten her certification in that. Like, that's who I want. I want my hairdresser to have her updated certifications. I don't want to know that she went to beauty school 30 years ago and hasn't learned anything new with color since then. She's still perming like I had in college in the 80s. No, I don't want that hairdresser. I always look at people like, yee. I mean, definitely, you can tell a lot by a hairdresser by how her hair looks. It's like, no, not going to that one. It's the same way with you. Think about it. And Mary Kay makes it so easy and so convenient for you to get it now on Mary Kay in Touch. But the inventory, that's something that you may want to have reopen that conversation with your director prior to the 15th. So that you can take advantage of being a star this quarter. You could be a star consultant all 4 quarters of 2021. That's a great goal. You guys, that's just $600 a month wholesale. Like, once you get your initial star done, $600 a month means you're selling $1,200 retail, you're profiting $600, you're replacing inventory at $600. That's what these earrings are for. I love these. I've been wearing these the last few days and have gotten so many compliments on them just from people out in public. The company's so smart because you wear these things, whether it's on your screen or out in public, and go, gosh, I just earned that in my business. People are going to say, well, what business are you in that you earn those? Those are cool. I teach women how to take care of their skin and apply makeup with Mary Kay. I teach women how to build businesses with Mary Kay. Do you have a Mary Kay beauty consultant? The company, all these prizes and cars and stuff, it's not just because it's fun and not just because Mary Kay wanted us to have Cinderella prizes, but it's also because it's conversation starters. The more people that ask you about something, your lipstick, I love these new lipsticks. So I'm wearing the new lip kits all the time, mostly the pink, I have to say. I look a little dead in the nude. I'd like to be able to rock it, but just because something's trendy doesn't mean you should wear it if it doesn't look good. And if you look like you're tired and you're dead, it's not a good look. So the pink, definitely do not look dead in. And so the more people, I am still an introvert, and I was also very shy when I started. And there's definitely a difference in that. So I've embraced being an introvert and figured out how to work in a very extroverted world of Mary Kay. But the shyness was a self-focus. That was worried about what other people thought thing that I've had to work through over the years. But I always would prefer someone asking me a question to open up the door to have a Mary Kay conversation versus me feeling like I have to drive that conversation. So the STAR Consultant Program, by the 15th, we are doing our own area STAR recognition. So that'll be in this Zoom room. Only stars are invited. You'll have our top 5 directors in sales year to date teaching you on that. Also, you are going to see like some Mary Kay offices, some Mary Kay houses, meaning that we just did a refi to get a lower interest rate. And the woman goes, gosh, this is a beautiful home. And I'm like, thank you. I go, Mary Kay paid for it. She goes, really? I go, yeah, every dime of it, every mortgage payment, every decoration, every single thing for 24 years. She goes, wow. So yeah, she's having a facial this week. Because the mortgage and real estate business, it's up and down, right? Up and down and up and down. I wanted to just to sit there and like say, okay, let's sign these papers and you can have a facial and an interview right now. But she had another title thing to do. So that railroad track, your perfect / power start, your pearls of sharing, and getting yourself to your profit taking level in your business. Profit taking means you have enough to do 30 faces in a month and sell skincare to 1/3 of them. That's 3,600 wholesale. That's profit taking. And that's profit taking for a part-time consultant. As you grow your clientele, you decide you want to do 60 faces a month, you're going to need double of that because 3,600 is only 10 roll-up bags. That's 1 out of 30, 1/3 buying skincare. So 3,600 is profit taking. And then, consultants that are my consultants and directors that do this as a job and have a clientele, they have 15,000 wholesale on their shelf. We don't start new consultants with that because we want to customize it as your business grows, because some of you will do a lot of men's skincare business and some none. Some will do a lot of fragrance, some none. Some a lot of botanicals, naturally. Some will, personally, I'd hedge yourself into the time-wise repair market. Time-wise repair, hydra sessions, retinol products. You guys, when you can sell skincare sets that are 225 plus, those women are reordering in men, the serum. My husband uses that firming serum from the skincare line. If he didn't get it half off, he might have to get a side hustle himself. He just takes it, does 10 big squirts and is rubbing it all over his face morning and night. Like, wow. You're lucky that if anything happens to me, your daughter's a consultant because you definitely need that stuff at cost. But the reorders on that, and it's not just, women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s plus using repair. There's 20-year-olds. You guys, if 20-year-olds are getting Botox, then there's no reason. Let's teach them how to not get stuff injected into their body that we may find out years down the line. Oh yeah, it'll be one of those ads on TV. If you had Botox and you now can't see or have a brain tumor or whatever horrible thing, call this law firm. It's like, let's just use time-wise repair instead. Because I feel really confident that down the line, we're not going to see any of those advertisements saying that our products that have more patents than any other line out there, no matter how technologically advanced we get, I feel confident that we're not going to see that on TV, that it's caused serious harm and disease and whatever. That's a whole nother topic. So railroad track. Last thing I want to share with you guys, I was listening to a Craig Rochelle and Dave Ramsey podcast, and Mary Kay always taught us that every day you read something positive. She suggested that we read the Bible before our feet hit the floor. I personally need coffee. So my feet can hit the floor and I got to walk to the coffee and then I can sit down and be in the Word. My first 10 years in Mary Kay, though, I had never cracked a Bible open. I went to church, they read it to me, they talked to me. So I look at my first 10 years, it was purely building a Mary Kay business based on the Mary Kay business. It works. But then the second part of my business since 95, well, second 2/3, I've been in the Word every day, and it's amazing what God will tell you and how He'll direct you. It is pretty darn amazing. I missed out on a lot the first 3 decades of my life. But she said, read something positive every day. And she also said, listen to something every day. And so sometimes it could be Mary Kay has tons of downloadable training. All of my training is downloadable. Your director can get you either a flash drive of all my training, or we can get you it emailed to you on Google. We're figuring that out on a Gmail account. So you can listen to me every single day. Like, I can train you every single day along with your sales directors. And it can be from your computer, in your car, etc. Also, there's tons of podcasts. I have an iPhone, so it's, I think Androids probably have their own podcast system, but while I'm doing, I don't really like to do cardio exercise. Like, I love yoga, but don't really like, getting on the elliptical, but I do like learning. And so if I have a podcast picked out, I'll go for a walk or I'll get on my elliptical. And so I trick myself into doing it. But it does, when you're listening to people, it changes how you think. And if you're someone who loves to learn and be able to apply it and be sharpened, Mary Kay is going to be an environment you like. Because even after 34 years and as a national sales director, you never arrive in this. You never arrive. You're constantly in a place of being transformed, which I love. Because if I could get to a place where I arrived, I would go on autopilot and I get bored really fast. I was that girl that changed her major after every single summer internship, because after 3 months, I'm like, I can't do this any longer. I changed my degree. And then I'd go back, I'd do an internship in something else and go, that's horrible. I can't do that for a whole lifetime. And so I ended up just picking a major that was like, all right, well, I've like crossed off all these by process of elimination. I'm just going to pick this one because it's pretty broad based. And, God probably went, why did you stress yourself out about that? I knew you were going to be at Mary Kay. Like, I don't know, but I did. But if I wouldn't have gone through that process, I wouldn't have been recruited for that job. I wouldn't have moved to Cleveland. I wouldn't have met Debbie Moore. And if I wouldn't have met Debbie Moore, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So God knew. But listening to this Craig Rochelle, Dave Ramsey, they were talking about culture. And Dave Ramsey said he does a new employee huddle like every couple months. And I'm like, I want to do that. And he said what his job was is to share who we are. Because when you say we're part of Mary Kay, when people say we're part of this national area, you're part of Mary Kay, what does that mean? What does that even mean? When people say you do Mary Kay, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Well, I want to share for you guys what our culture is in our national area. And what Dave Ramsey was saying is that in their company, if people don't fit in with the culture, then they want to go work someplace else. Because if you don't fit in with who this company is, like when people say, I don't like people, well, this isn't going to be a good job for you. You don't fit in with us. Like, you don't want to help people feel better about themselves. No. All right. Well, this isn't for you. This isn't, like, do something different. That's fine. It's who are we? And so I want to end with this, and then I'll open it up if anyone has any questions. Actually, you could in the chat. So if our consultants have any questions they'd like to hear me answer, type that in the chat. So I actually listened to this message by Craig and Dave Ramsey. And if you guys want that message, I can get that to you, or your directors can. We use this at our Lake Lanier retreat. And so I'm like, okay, what is our culture you're in Mary Kay, you know what Mary Kay is about. In this national area that Mary Kay's put you in, what are we about? And probably 15 years ago, it was real big in Mary Kay, like to figure out your brand. It was the start of the internet being used and social media for your Mary Kay business. It was actually kind of a gross time period because it was all about building your own celebrity, really. And this whole brand thing, like, what's your brand? It's like, I represent Mary Kay's mission and her brand. So it was kind of confusing. I'm like, okay, Lord, do I need to figure out, my brand? Everyone's talking about, as a national and top director, you need your brand out there. And so I'm like, what's my brand? He's like, love, leadership, legacy. Love, leadership, legacy. What are we called to? He said, you're called to love unconditionally. You invest your time conditionally. Time is invested very conditionally because everyone only has so much time, and everyone is going to have to stand before Jesus and be judged. How did you use your time and your gifts and talents? We love unconditionally. We invest our time very conditionally. Leadership, we do it the Mary Kay way. She said there's 3 ways to lead: by example, and by example. And legacy, we're very generational. You know, in Mary Kay created this for women to pass this on to their kids and their grandkids and other people's kids and other people's grandkids. Our national area has tons of mother-daughter teams. And Mary Kay herself, when Debbie and Kathy debuted as nationals, you can find it on YouTube with Mary Kay talking to them. And she's looking at Debbie and Kathy and saying, I know you're going to impact Mary Kay all over the world. And they ended up teaching in Russia and China and all over the world. But she looked at their daughters, Jordan and Taylor, who are now Cadillac sales directors and married and families of their own. And she said, but it's going to be through the kids that we change this world. And you guys, as I see what's going on in our world, you know, whether you have girls or boys at home, whether you have grown-ups, whether you have grandkids, or the women that you're going to meet, your customers, and we get to be in people's houses. We get to be in relationship with them. We get to be the light. We get to make a difference in people's lives, whereas we know, I mean, we can see what's going on. God's been taken out of schools, the government, the military, but God knew when he had Mary Kay start this, you know, this is not coming as a surprise to him at all. And who are we, the lipstick ladies, that get to be the light in this world when people need it so desperately? How do we do it? Probably 5 years later, God gave me work hard, dream big, trust God. You know, that's how we get there. How do we do things in our area? We work hard. No one's ever going to tell you, no one better ever tell you in our area that you can do nothing and make $100,000 a year. Like, that is not who we are. That is not who Mary Kay Ash was. We work hard, we dream big, and we trust God. And 3, who are we looking for? Who are you looking for to share your bestie coupons with? Who are you looking for to be your hostesses? Because women, you know, birds of a feather flock together. We're looking for women determined to thrive. Not women who are going to play the victim card and say, you know, everything's horrible. These are all the things that happened to me, so I can't because of that. A victim is someone who blames something external to her. The economy, her husband, her kids, the season on the calendar, the season in life. That's external to you. A wise person says, yeah, this is not fun, but you know, my finances don't look good because of what's happened in the pandemic, but look at this woman just offered me a Mary Kay business. Wow, that's an opportunity to change stuff versus I can't do it because I can't find $30 because of all these things that have happened. We're looking for women determined to thrive. That's who we are. And that's who I believe you are. If you've been brought into this area, that's who I believe you are. And sometimes people forget who they are because of stuff that's happened in life, because of what people have told them, what situations, circumstances beyond their control. They start to believe that their past is their future. And I love in Mary Kay that we get to say, no, 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 no. You know, you are a woman determined to thrive, and you thriving, whatever thrive looks like in your life, is going to encourage other women to do the same. Our 5 core behaviors. This actually came from, again, I was listening to an Andy Stanley podcast on visioneering. That's a great book that he has. And it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And he was saying, you know, he had to determine what were the 5 core behaviors that if they got really good at those things, that their church would most likely succeed. Their business would most likely succeed. And I started to think, it's like, okay, Lord, what is the 5 core behaviors that if we do these things well, we more than likely will build an inner circle area. And if we don't, we won't. And the 5 are: 1, we're all in. There's no plan B. And that doesn't mean that, that you don't have another job. It means that quitting is not an option in your Mary Kay business. When I started, I was taught that in my first year, the only way that I could fail at any time was to quit. But in your first year, you don't even consider it. You know, when people call me and say, I'm quitting by Mary Kay, they haven't even started. They haven't done a power start. They haven't done pearls. I'm like, well, you may be quitting, but you're not quitting Mary Kay because you haven't even started Mary Kay. So you can't say you're quitting Mary Kay because you haven't even done it yet. You may be quitting the thought of Mary Kay, but you're not quitting Mary Kay because you haven't started building your Mary Kay business yet. But no plan B. And you guys, that has been reduced stress in my business, because when someone cancels or disappoints me, finish lines don't look how I thought they should, or I wanted them to, or I worked for them to. If quitting isn't an option, I don't have to torture myself and decide, am I quitting or not? Then how am I going to tell, Debbie Moore that I'm quitting? And then am I sending products back or not? Instead, I could book another party. If quitting isn't an option, you make different choices. 2, we embrace the skincare class as the vehicle. There's lots of different ways. Now with virtual, we have even more. There's, open houses. There's 5 favorite products. There's so many different things you can do. Trunk shows, grand openings, all these different things, holiday sales. But the skincare class is the vehicle to build your Mary Kay business. 3, we make money selling this product. So I want you to be a star. I want you to be on a star event next Saturday, because you're going to hear from women that they are selling at Queen's Quarter sales level. They're selling 40,000 more a year. They're making 20,000 more just in this one avenue selling the product. We make money selling this product. 4, we play by the Mary Kay Ash rules of the game. You read her autobiography and you're going to consistently hear me talk about playing by the rules of the game. And we build fast and strong. Some people think it's got to be slow and strong and fast and weak. Especially this, God just gave us this virtual world. We can build so fast and so strong. You're going to see records blown out of the water in this time period. We also, in our area, you're going to be taught how to self-coach yourself. Your director is going to be coaching you according to this formula that God gave me years ago when I was frustrated. It's like, okay, once people go through their power start, their pearls, getting themselves to their profit-taking level of inventory, I don't know what else to say to them, God. Like, I don't know how to encourage them or coach them. I need help here. And so this is the formula that you're going to be given. The first thing you evaluate, when you get to a point in your business that you want to grow faster, or you're frustrated and not getting the results that you want, or when things are going good and you want to continue them, the first thing you look at are numbers. You're going to be taught. You look at the numbers in your business, new leads, new faces, interviews. Directors look at unit size and unit recruiting. The second thing you look at is target market. You guys, this is all on boot camp. This is also all on my website under the Get Your Year in Gear 2021. This is all written out, the numbers, target market. It tells you exactly what Mary Kay's target market is. Skills is the third thing we look at, and systems. Systems are things like a housekeeper, grocery service, someone to clean your mirrors and trays, someone to put labels on products, someone to input computer stuff that has to be done, but you don't have to personally do it so that you can be in front of more people with the product and opportunity. And the fourth thing is you. And you guys, if you look at that list, I will tell you that most women, when they're frustrated or disappointed, the first thing they look at is themselves. I can't do it. I'm, not good enough to do this. It's not the right time. I'm not the right person, etc. If you get past beating yourself up, then you'll go, I need to know more. I need to know more. Honestly, as a new consultant, you need your list of 20 people that have skin. You need your script to book your appointments. If you want to learn how to do virtual, you're going to go on my website, under skincare class, everything skincare class, the Post My Party information. We've been working on this since October in our area to figure out how to make Facebook and virtual parties as easy as walking into someone's house with a flip chart. Post My Party is a virtual flip chart. And then after they get past the point of I need to know more, then they look at who they're working with. And the last thing people generally address are numbers. And you guys, this is a very mathematical business. If you have the right attitude and even don't have the skill, but you go through the Mary Kay numbers, you're going to get results. If you have a bad attitude, then it's not going to matter. But when you're evaluating, you're going to be taught how to first look at numbers, then go to target market, then skills, then you. When you get to the point where you can self-coach yourself, you guys, that's great. You don't have to sit and wait for your director to tell you these things. I mean, that's the point of being an entrepreneur. Our job is to get you independent. It's like raising your kids. Like you raise them to be, good human beings and, figure out what their gifts and talents are and do what God's called them to do in the kingdom and in this world while they're here. So in Mary Kay, our job is not to always manage you. We don't want to manage you at all. We want to lead you so that you can learn how to be successful in this Mary Kay business. This is a franchise. We're going to teach you how to be successful in it. You get to pick how successful and how fast. The tools that we use in our area, when I'm talking about, God said this and God said that in Mary Kay, I remember hearing people going, is he talking to them? I don't understand. Like, what does that mean? I don't understand how they can be so confident that he has said this to them. And the Experiencing God workbook is something that was given to me early on, when I became a born again believer. And I've probably done that since 1995, 25 times, some by myself, sometimes with groups. The Experiencing God workbook taught me how to have a God perspective versus a self perspective. In our natural selves in the world, you'll always drift towards self every single time. So the Experiencing God workbook is a tool we use a lot in our area. Other tools that have been really helpful for me, Joyce Meyer's Battlefield of the Mind. Craig Rochelle has, I think, a Battlefield of the Mind book that he just launched. Joyce Meyer's Approval Addiction was really good, because if you're living your life to make other people happy, this business is gonna be really uncomfortable for you. And so that part of it was uncomfortable for me, but God used it. He's always used the goals of my Mary Kay business have been important enough to me that I'd be willing to work through these things that he needed to work out of me. The Dream Giver, we were talking about that at our area call. The Dream Giver is an awesome book. If you're like, I didn't grow up in a family that talked about dreams. It was about your business goals. It was about your grades. It was about being a good person, impacting your community, going to church on Sunday. No one ever talked about, what's your dream? I mean, that was kind of like fairy tale Cinderella stuff. But the Dream Giver has described my journey in Mary Kay better than anything else in words. And it's always nice when you can have a railroad track going, oh, I'm not crazy. I encourage you to grab that. The Dream Giver and Mary Kay's autobiography would be like two things I'd say, start there. Necessary Endings is another book that's great, that taught me the difference between being wise and foolish. Also, just how to draw healthy boundaries. Actually, he's the doctor who wrote Boundaries. So if you've ever done any counseling, pretty much everyone who's done any counseling has read that book, but Necessary Endings by Henry Cloud. And Donna Pardo wrote a book called A Devotional, Walking in Total God Confidence. That was really important to me. I had to get past the point, and I think you'll agree, as a woman, our self-confidence ebbs and flows depending on what's going on in our relationships, in our job, in our home, school. And so I would be confident in some situations, but then totally lacking in confidence in others. And I didn't like that. And I'm not sure any of you probably say, I love not feeling confident. I love feeling inadequate. I love feeling insufficient. The Walking in Total God Confidence taught me how to focus on him and having confidence in him. And now, even to build an inner circle national area, even for you to go from where you're at to building a Mary Kay business and reaching your goals and dreams, if you're looking with God confidence, it's like, God can do this. God can find your 20 plus people for your car. He can find you 20 directors for your national area. He can create a baby. He can part the Red Sea. He can raise the dead. Like, building a Mary Kay business through you is not hard unless you don't let him. That's the trick right there. He gives us that choice. But the Walking in Total God Confidence, even when I've never built an inner circle area before, I'm confident in what he's called me to, and I'm confident in who he is. And so I know, even though we've had a pandemic and things have looked a lot different the last year for all of us, God's still on his throne. I still know who he is. It doesn't change my confidence and my hope, not one single bit. It makes me more confident and more excited about what he's going to do. So those are some of the tools that we use on my website. There's also under education, a 30-day challenge. If you've ever wanted to do some spiritual journaling, it was something I was challenged to do when I went through a certification process in coaching with the Black Bee Ministry. And that was something that I had to do, and I found that it was so helpful. I've continued it on. There's a whole outline for it there. My boot camp, there's a site where all of my stuff is downloadable on Bandcamp, but you pay for that. So that's not really meant for our national area. That's for people outside of our area to take advantage of if they want to take part in our training. They go to Bandcamp. But for our national area, your director, my area has permission to copy any of my training. So everything, the directors have flash drives with it all on. They can make copies, they can put it on their computer, they can email it to you. We were just talking at Lake Lanier. It's all downloadable and it all can get in your hands. So you can listen to every single thing that I've said and a lot of the training that my husband's done also for free. And then gathering together, that's the last thing. You guys, the company is going to do this Red Rally in April, which is what we used to call Career Conference. They just are calling it a different name, but everyone's invited, not just Red Jackets. It's all training, encouragement, recognition for our final last few months of the Mary Kay year. But normally, you know, one of the rules of success in Mary Kay was to gather together weekly with your sales director. And so some of you do that live now, depending on where you live. Some are doing it virtually. I love the virtual gathering. I will never stop that because I've always moved and had people all over the country. I've never been able to have my whole unit together ever, or my whole area together really, except for maybe even leadership conference. It's not your whole area. Like I've been able to get people together virtually in a way this year that I haven't in 34 years. So I don't think we'd ever stop that, but gathering together, even if it's with the screen between us, it's different than just hearing a phone call or a CD or feeling like Mary Kay always wanted us to feel like, no, we were in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. And you get to make that choice. Your director's not going to chase you down. She is not your mom. She's not your manager. She's going to provide opportunities for you to plug into. As a national, I provide opportunities for you to plug into. You get to pick if you plug in or not. And I like that because I don't have to be a babysitter for anyone. I don't have to be a manager for anyone. I have 2 kids, that's plenty, and a son-in-law. Like that's all I need for children. I love being a leader and offering and then seeing who shows up. So make sure I didn't miss anything. We always were taught career conference, seminar, a fall retreat, and a get your year in gear. We've now gone through one whole year without all those. And so what I have done and God laid on my heart to do is to do a leadership retreat in September up at our lake house in northeastern Michigan. And so that was very fun, and DIQs were invited. And so from that, we have 2 new sales directors, Becky Solomon and Taylor Haley. And then God's like, okay, do it again. So in February, we went to Lake Lanier, sales directors and DIQs, and we now have Emily and Trisha as DIQs getting ready to finish up their units. The next time that we can gather is in May at my house in Canton, Michigan. So you fly into Metro Detroit. We can get you the flyer with all the details. It's the weekend of May 22nd. Directors have to qualify by doing Team 100 to come to this leadership retreat, and anyone that gets into DIQ by May 1st. So even if you're a brand new consultant, you don't even have your first order in, nor your first team member, you signed up yesterday. You can have 10 team members and be at my home in May. I know if I were you, and I know there's other Dawns out there. If I were you and I was sitting on this and Debbie Moore was talking to me and I had just bought my starter kit and she said if I had 10 active team members in the next 50 days and I could come to her house and be trained in person with her and her top people, I'd say, I'm in. I'll find 10 people. I'll find 10 people that want to start a Mary Kay business, that want to get their things at cost, that want to go with me. I would. And so I know that there's other people out there that are wired like that. And if that's you, you want to tell your director and you want to get on Voxer and tell me, because I am making that list this weekend of our people who will be joining me in May, because then I am pouring into you as your directors are pouring into you to help you reach that finish line. But gathering together in the future, you guys are going to get to see Mary Kay events live. And I can't wait for you to, because they are so fun. And we love that we can use technology to connect, but it does not take the place of gathering together and seeing women walk across stage in long dresses with, tuxedoed men, walking them across, presenting their prizes, just seeing these women so excited and having so much fun, and a place where women can be sharpened and cheered on and encouraged. Mary Kay does that better than anyone. I've had women leave Mary Kay events and go, I've been to a lot of women's Christian conferences and a lot of business conferences, and that was it's like a best combination. It's like your MBA, a women's Christian conference, a Broadway show, all put together. So I cannot wait for us to be able to gather again together. But in the meantime, we're going to figure it out. So you guys, I'm going to stop the recording and answer any questions for those who want to stay on. But thank you. This, if you do want it, or you have anyone that you think could benefit from listening to it, let me know, because I'll get the recording in a little